What? No. Okay, hello guys, welcome back to another stream. Hopefully you guys are doing great. Let's get started with today. Interesting day yesterday. We ended up sliding down as well. I mean, again, came back to the 50, which is the sort of first area we were looking for. Potential long area. I mean, we saw a long slide down on the open, came back up, reached back into here, rejected, pushes back down. Interesting enough. I don't want to see. Okay, yeah. Do that later. Hey man, yeah, doing great, man. How you doing? Just reset my bookmap because I was getting issues. Let's change the volume dot. I don't know. Do you guys prefer 2D? Do you guys prefer 3D? I like 2D. It contrasts against the sort of background. The bubbles kind of irritate me. I don't know why. It just gets on. Just I don't know. It just gets to me. But I mean, a small icky side from my part. But let's get started. Okay. So I forgot all the slides from yesterday. 16. Yeah, pretty much got everything to 16. You can see the slide down, came back up. Large sell, large sell. Let's add the session range volume profile, and we'll add the delta. And super easy to add. Delta VP. We can make it chart range, so it's what we're looking at right now. So again, chart range split on the delta. You can see I never have anything set up, do I? I have just ultimately and always behind schedule. Perfect. Perfection does. I should have 24 hours loaded. I want 160 hours. 260 hours, 48. 48 would be nice. Group only pertains and you have issues. I think it's just random bug. I don't know why it was giving me issues. It should be all for the most part up and running now. I need to fix a few things here and there, but again, just proverbially always behind on things, so you should start seeing stuff come through. But yeah, I don't know why it's giving me issues. But there we go. So we sort of see that pinned here, sort of got this area of short that we've collated from this area here all the way and constantly sort of leveling out here. So we know that at this point we are always having these areas here. We've potentially have accumulated a bunch of stops now on either side from these points here. So this is sort of a general point where we'd like to focus our interest on, and we're seeing this sort of slide down here with this large push down, starting to finally see these sellers sort of trade out and sort of come into a point where they're saying, you know what, we no longer feel like selling too much. We had this massive bid entered in as sort of large pressure wise. and we have this sort of constant wall from 2700 still be active, so there's still sort of some desire to visit here at some point, whether it may be today or much later, that's yet to be seen. It is a new month, so first of the month is when they usually like to test out sort of people's people's wits. I'd say wit, yeah, people's wit. Jesus, I have no wit. People's wit. So they and sort of patience with this sort of day. So you might see sort of active day. We didn't get really in too much of an active day yesterday. As you can note here, so we came back up, slammed it on here. 1, 2, 3. They said, you know what, we'll drop it. Here's the drop. Came back in. This came back in, and then we have the slide down on here. So as you can see, we're constantly repeating the visits here, and constantly and always seeing sort of shorts being applied to this area. We've taken out liquidity, so that could also be the stops being taken as well as liquidation. So there's two folds from this area here, but that's culminated in a sort of large sort of heavy set delta on people going short. So it's a potential sort of to see this as a long, at least to take the liquidity on the higher side, because we still haven't taken any sort of liquidity from that side. As you can see, every time we came to, it's just sort of stayed stagnant and said, you know what, we're not going to take the stops here, we're not going to take the stops here, and it's just ad infinitum. You see this sort of level, and if I were a retail trader, I would sort of say this and say, okay, cool, there's my trend line, I buy this, and then they bought this, and then it declined. So hey presto, retail does it again. I mean, at some point you expect them to learn, won't you? But nevertheless, they never learn. But as you can see, this is heavy long. We're sort of offsetting that, and the numbers still haven't culminated in saying that this is all even. This is all sort of pushing down. We still have this sort of major sort of area here. So I think that's why they're testing this slowly to the downside. They're seeing if they can get rid of that while accumulating short, and they can potentially punch that up. So you're looking for that maybe, and then you're sort of waiting for that with a bated breath, and you can see the effect of what trend lines can do and how they sort of trade it. As you can see, people buy these up, and the stops get hit here. So this is where you'd potentially look to buy, and then potentially a confirmation of your bias here to maybe look for that on the opposite side. Hey. Do you know what I forgot to put up? Bookmap chat. Let me quickly find Bookmap YouTube chat. Just bear with me. Don't want to leave those guys unanswered, just in case they do have questions. Don't want to be unfair to everybody. Okay, now that's up. So again, free feel to ask questions wherever you are watching. If you're watching on Discord, free to ask on the Discord crypto chat. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to ask on YouTube chat, and so on. I'm more than happy to answer any questions pertaining to trading. So I mean, right now the inventory is looking a bit weak. We're pulling down. I mean, if we look at ES, I mean, this is where I have to reset, but if you look at that, they're sort of solidifying the walls below here. And if we go, and I even have this up, man, we go into Chrome and sort of open up Trend Spider, and you can see where Spider ended, and where our sort of areas of interest are for Spider. So as you can see, we came up, and we saw that sort of rise up on the last, and I can't pull that up because I did reset my data, so I'm not privy to that data anymore. But we did see that rise from yesterday, but it did end up just coming to and culminating in 400 rejections. So we got that on open, slides up, comes in here on open, and says, you know what, from here on out we just want to go down. So they just constantly trade it down, take out stops. We could see this sort of come into sort of being a W. So, but we have sort of bids here and support here. So we're sort of holding out and saying, you know what, if they've already sort of dropped this to this level here, thereabouts somewhere, they could potentially just slide. And what I mean by slide, just drop it I like slide because it just means smooth motion, which sell into it and just move out into that. So maybe looking for 3900 if anything on the sort of week, but on the week open. Not the week open. This weekend month beginning. Oh god damn, this is gonna be crazy. I mean, 4 hours sort of ended here, sort of nice blueprint doji. So you want to see above 46.50. No, Jesus, not 46. 49.60, 655. Yeah, I'll mark this number and you guys can read it out. There we go. That's the number. I can't do reading. Okay, but that aside, come back into that and sort of pull out and see where sort of Bitcoin wants to move if it tries to move down. So does Bitcoin have space to move down? And yes, it does. Would it like to move down? That's the thing. I don't think it would like to move down, but it definitely can see some sort of desire to see that. And if we come back to sort of yesterday and what we saw, again, new month, so a new sort of profile being sort of presented. We saw that large P and we said, you know what, this is not really a good shape, and that being where we saw these aggressive longs. We came in with this below. No one was willing to buy. So in Bookmap that will show buyer exhaustion. So we had buyer exhaustion here and unwillingness from buyers. So they just pulled it down. Said, you know what, we trapped more here. We trapped a lot here. We pulled those down, and now we're seeing a bunch of shorts. And we saw that on Bookmap. We had a lot of shorts here. We have a lot of shorts here. Just this middle where we have some longs. So we could definitely do with some trickery and maybe taking out the stops. So maybe look for the stops to be taken out here, just because if I were a retail trader and I were to enter long here on the daily metric, I would place stops at this point, which would seem like the most logical point to place stops, and it would seem like that is where they would place them. So maybe look for a targeted stop hunt at the 19,550 level. So when we get that targeted stop hunt, we could potentially look for that to rise off of that. So there is a level and room for price to move down, and that sort of correlates with what ES is sort of setting up, potential to move down, because we do have this sort of large buy up coming in, taking out sort of the shorts here. I mean, we sort of came into this wall, so I need to change this. This is just irritating. There we go. We saw these come in, sell into that, start buying up, start shorting. The shorts got taken out for a run, and now we're seeing sort of a dangerous amount of shorts open up as well. So let's also add a delta, go chart range, and make this delta. There we go. As you can see, a lot of longs, but at the same time we've got shorts starting to stack up here. So I kind of want to see where they take this and which way they move. So if they start moving up, you can start maybe saying on open, if they grab enough longs, they drive them down, and sort of print that. Because again, we're now just printing basis on where the month would start, but we're also ending our week. So we're sort of in an awkward position. I don't really like weekends and months starts when they come in together, just because it's a fool's game. Hey, how you doing? But if we do end up going up, again, that's that second entry. Go into that. There we go. We've already got a green bar coming in, slightly strong. 2300 comes in short, takes out the liquidity here, and catches retail traders out. So if we catch retail traders out, you're potentially looking for that as a short to then drop down lower. Just because we see that cluster of even trades, and you can see this person is present everywhere. He's everywhere. You just see the single trader, and these traders are just larger trader is just entering positions everywhere, and you can see that with the yellow mark that I've just added where they are roughly. So you can see the shape. They sort of prefer to sort of get filled here. They've got a sort of small sort of hump here, but I think we want to see some shorts opened up or longs opened up into this short to then pull down, take out the sort of month stop, take out these longs, and we can sort of present that with a better sort of view on longing it over a period of time. Again, we've got that double top. It's just a slow sort of bleed. You can see here, just nice double top here, nice double top here, same thing here. But we're sort of moving into sort of this sort of down, well, sort of not really a downtrend, but sort of sloping down into this area here, back to our sort of 50% range. So we can potentially make some arguments again, where I did sort of state that this could be a potential sort of long area if we're sort of stuck in between this area. But again, we're just looking at orders, and we're just seeing if there's a desire from retail traders or market makers to bring it up. Just tuned in. Could you check out Discord chat? Send a chart. Just want to know what it means. Yeah, cool. Send in main. Yeah. I talked about that right in the beginning. Okay, yeah, sure. Do it again. So yeah, I mean, we saw that liquidity, and we see that liquidity into here. From here, this large sort of slope, and you can see that with retail traders, and we sort of, and I would say around here we sort of maybe look to target that, and we see that in Bookmap, where we see the large liquidity to catch these stops. So there's I know for a fact there will be resting stops here, and there's extension around here, so we'd sort of look for that as a bated breath if we sort of pull out into that area here. And just to sort of show you, does that, there you go, that's your 2300 all the way to 2200. So if you sort of mark that out, we go 2200 comes in at the peak. Starts here as soon as we take out the trend, all the way to 2300, coming here, so just above this area here, as you can see. If you pull it down, actually make it exact, there we go, 2330. So slight overhang, but so maybe you look to target the 2300, which is just here. So you can see they round that up here. So we've got liquidity here to catch out any sort of stops, and what that will end up culminating in is a large sort of green dot arising from all the stops getting hit, and then we'll probably see a decline after that. For the most part, not always, but for the most part, generally seeing this fall, it's just a nice falling wedge. And people, traders, especially retail traders, like to trade this and say, oh yeah, breakout, there's your cup, there's your breakout, and pull it like this. And maybe this is your V, this is your U, and they say, oh look, it'll do this, it'll go up, and then they get tricked into sort of and saying this is a potential upward movement, where in fact it's just trading to take stops to then pull down. So it could potentially sort of come about in that direction. It's all about just trying to recognize sort of patterns and what sort of is coming out from that. So, and the reason why patterns print in the first place is because it's easy liquidity to print patterns. If someone recognizes something, they won't think two other thoughts. They say, you know what, I recognize that, let me take that. Pine House tomorrow to fly over to Bahamas. Exactly. It's exactly that. It's a way to catch out retail traders. Can I short ETH at 4825? I'll check for you. Ether is always a nightmare to look at just because it's everywhere. But we'll look at it. I mean, it's a nightmare to look at in the books, and in the charts it's less so of a nightmare. I think the spot and there's very little differentiation between spot and futures, which is usually a rare occurrence. I would say possibly you can. Just looking at it, glancing at where it's sort of taking out sort of traders, and where it's, as you can see, the sharp turn of events here and here into this sort of sliding down motion. But looking further, again you see the small tip, nice sort of teardrop, but this again was just a nice sort of sharp area here. Just say, you know what, this here is trapped liquidity. So again, you're potentially looking for this to be the same. If it revisits here, it'll be a revisit to be a double top, or if it slides higher, it'll be a stop hunt into a drop. Let's see where our orders are and where our traders' sentiment is. So let's see. Ooh, looks like 2900 is prior to that. We've got already this area potentially falling on its foot. So it'll be interesting to see if it falls and or if it slams through this. I don't know, generally it looks, it's been pretty decent to look at. Coming out, sliding down, dropping below this, staying below this, which is nice. There you go. Staying below this area here, the 1589 level. As you see, there's a nice sort of blue doji we can mark off for ourselves. And sort of same sort of what's called it? Same sort of reasoning Bitcoin has. As you can see, this sort of area pins down. We sort of trade lower. We finally have a nice rise. We trade back. This might be sort of a nice area to sort of say we've trapped retail shorts into areas where prior longs were. So we could see this as a rise. We could see if it ends up trapping liquidity here, as it could be. I think this is what a cup looks like. As you can see, we've drawn a nice sort of, if I should do it like this, I think nice little cup, and not nice looking, but it's sort of shaping up to be with internal traps. And then we trade to the midpoint. We could definitely look for this to try trade up. If it takes this area here, we sort of wait it and see where we end up being with liquidity. We could definitely look to drop it. But the key is what Jim Cramer is feeling today. If he's feeling bearish today, we are very bullish. If he's feeling bullish today, we are very bearish. I'm joking. No, I'm not. But now again, coming up to liquidity, so you want to see if they slam through this liquidity, and if we look at sort of where the candles are, there's a reasoning to this area. Yeah, but it's slight reasoning to sort of have 2700 as a stopgap. Sliding all the way from, we've got this larger area from 26.9 to 27. Actually, I'm trying to struggle with price. 27.100. There you go. 27.200. Yeah, so around where our 50% will lie. So let's say they grab all the, they grab and made people buy all the way to 27.2 and decide to start moving it down from there. You could definitely see just a short throw and just say, you know what, there's your short throw, and you pull it down. Yeah, I want to see where this wall started coming in and how long it's been there. Then it will sort of tell me, oh, Jesus, that's really short. And it sort of tell me sort of how they've developed it and how they plan to sort of do you see it from the looks of things. It doesn't look like it was there for too long, but I want to see it try come in at least here to sort of say there's your sort of short area. And it almost makes sense, as you can see this area of large sort of longs entering into here. And we can get rid of the numbers and just show the color of the bars, just because there's too many numbers. Well, software is on the left hand side. It looks really cool. It's Bookmap, you know that. Is it my left or no? Wait. One's TrendSpider and one's Bookmap. you know that. You should know that by now, Greg. Hey, Spicy. Holy, there's too many orders. Yeah, it's probably chugging my system long. Like like, mind you, I have a really powerful system with 64 gigs of RAM, so it shouldn't be chugging this badly. Just Discord multiple ads is strategy. I think the Discord link is in the description, if I'm not mistaken. On the Bookmap side. One question about Bookmap. When you look at Binance futures, you look at them simultaneously, and you sort of I mean, it's a bad example from my side because I don't have both of them up, but you want to look at simultaneously, just because. So, and here's how I look at it, and here's how I justify it. If so future contracts and is just for making profit and it's just for making money, and it has no sort of monetary gain. So if you sort of look at and sort of say, okay, you know what, it is Binance futures, and everyone in Binance futures is trading to turn into US currency, and everyone on spot side, so this is the Binance side, everyone on Binance spot BS, everyone who's in BS is accumulating or is sharing stock. So it's a share of shares being exchanged. And this is money being exchanged. So you look at sort of can identify if there's a large amount of buyings and a large amount of shakeouts in spot. They're looking to exchange shares into sort of strong hands, and it comes to just the argument of strong hands versus weak hands. So the strong hands and weak hands exchanging sort of shares between each other, because there is no such exchange in futures other than the exchange of currency and the desire to make money off these who are liquidated. So you see that there is sort of you have beneficiaries and there is cause to look at both because they both define different things. And if you see and there's ways to look at divergence between the two, and if one is buying more than the other, and you can say, okay, they're buying more in spot, so they're buying to accumulate, or you see more buying in futures, so they're buying at a higher price. You see, okay, there's a potential liquidations, but and so on. PC noob? No, it's heavier on RAM. I can show you, man. I can show. My GPU no issue, man. My GPU no issue. Look, memory. Memory is the issue. It's using 26 gigs of RAM. CPU, the GPU, nothing, man. Breeze, man. 3080. It's a breeze. It's a breeze, man. RAM? No, help me. And sort of but other than the jokes aside, that is sort of the differentiations between the two. And sort of that's why you want to look at both, and I see people looking at one or looking at the other, and there's sort of, they get blindsided by a move because it doesn't show up, and they get sort of like, oh no, Bookmap doesn't really help. It bounced around a phantom wall. It's because it was accumulating and it was showing something on futures and not showing on spot, or the other way around, and you missed it because you weren't looking at it. I don't know most people. I don't know who else does this except for me. I'm not saying I pioneered it, but I pioneered it. No. Anyone with two brain cells can figure that there's differentiations between the two, and there's cause and reason to look at the other, and you can make up your own explanations why it's important to look at the other, as long as it fits. I don't know if that translates in Discord showing, but okay, there you go. Okay, coming down, it looks like they short through it too much. I think you don't want to short this too. Do you want to short this early? I don't think you want to short this early. Just, I mean, you seen this come down? Oh, terrible. There you go. I mean, they the wall they hit into and said, you know what, we're done for today. And are they done for today? I doubt they are. There you go. They came up, and I think they came up as this wick, and that wick came into this, and they said as soon as it starts pulling down, we start seeing this bid come in, and just saying nope, and now we're sort of pulling away already. Yeah, I kind of want to still want to see. Actually, no. Yeah, are they playing with this? They're moving around bids, but looks like they're still staying in this area here. So I kind of want to see slightly higher. I want to see the thicker sort of area here just get hit, just out of thing, just for necessity. No, not even necessity, just for greed's sake, as greed be. And you can see ES pull back into this area here, so we're already sort of pulling down. If we pull down early, you know to reverse it, you know to hit that switch. And no. I mean, we still haven't hit the weekly, outside the weekly range. We've hit Monday out on Tuesday. We haven't hit the entire week, which is Monday and Tuesday combined out. So considering that we haven't hit Monday and Tuesday out, still waiting for that to get hit out, and then that'll either, if it's on this side, start pulling into it. If it's 50, I mean, yeah, we can make some arguments about 50, but let me see if this is the weekly range. Let's sort of look at the not a golden pockets. So that's your golden pocket for the week. There you go. For both who trade golden pockets, really my style, but it's sort of your DCA levels again. That's why I sort of mark the higher 50, because it comes in sort of here. So your dollar cost average levels coming in. If we can start moving up, we can start showing potency to at least trade to here, and trade above the 50, of the golden line. Let's sort of zoom that in so you guys can see that clearly now. The rain has gone. It's 9 o'clock. Oh, it's 9:06 actually. We're coming up half hour. 9 o'clock's usually set up. You want to see where they set up the shadow box. When they see the setup, that's when you know you're set for a trade, because they can easily just pull this up just to this level here, which is this level here. So they pull it into this area here and just drop it and just says, you know what, I'm done with you guys, go away, come again tomorrow. But it's slightly higher as well. This sort of extends all the way here, but the start of it is here. So you want to see if they target that internal sort of range liquidity here, and 15 minutes is this red bar to this wick, and if they do, they might just cascade it all the way to these stop areas here. But generally speaking, I mean, they've collected enough sort of long, so if they want to drop it, they'll probably drop it around here after coming to it. That's why I want to see it. It's just slightly higher from Ethereum, to see if they can pull it, pull some more orders after they get more orders. There you go. After they get more orders, see if they can pull it from there. So there's just more rise if you're trading very sort of micro moves. Can I see one? Kind of want to see. Kind of want to see if we pull up on ES. There's your large sell into this. Quick bid. Let's take out. I want to see if we can take out this entire sort of short liquidity. If that short liquidity ends up being the point where they just reject off of, or if they just trade this until open. If they trade up until open, you can sort of kiss your majority of your chances goodbye of going out higher. Again, we've got these bids loaded up, waiting. Yes, that is why I stop me right now on some shorts. Let me know 28. I mean, here's what it looks like on sort of a 15-minute scale where we ended. It still isn't. Oh, Jesus, man, what is wrong with it? I've reset it. I've done everything to it. It's just not working. Yeah. Okay. I'll manually try updating some of it, but I don't know after stream. But again, I've reset it. Maybe. Not sure if I've reset it twice and like thrice during that period. It still isn't pulling through, which is annoying. Okay, I'll double check with the program itself that I'm using, but prior to that, I mean, there's actually things. So Greg is running its GTX 750. Yeah, I think he is. If he's having GPU issues, probably is. So there's sort of your sort of price for them, and you can see how they haven't closed that off on this side. So they, I mean, this side doesn't count. If you look at this side and you see a rise, so potentially look for that to fill in. Maybe we get that 9 all the way there to pull up. No, it's fine. Like I know it's annoying to me as well that it's been an issue. It should just be working. So I mean, so if we rise this, there's a lot of room to move down. There's a lot of room to move down, and that's very evident by the charts. Oh, don't want to press the black button. Even though 4 hours is an area we want to come to, we've got a lot of room. We've got a lot of space, which is nice. That means more shorts to be played. But once this shorts has been played, we know this is the point where people start giving up, especially on the weekends. Like, oh, you know what? I've had too much with this. Let's awesome. No, don't do that. No, don't do it. Please don't do it. Okay, things are moving again. Just looks very sort of. It wants to make a decision. Its decision should be, and I'm preferring it, but it should be, run out longs, reverse it after we get a nice little shorts here. But that's not always the case, is it? And I'm trying to look for a bottom so I can show you what that is. It could have it happen in the same bar, so you see on the same day they just run it out, pull it up. I'm looking for multiple days. There you go. Again, run it out on the same day, and the final day, there we go, green with envy. And he ends here, and actually ends somewhere here, very green. Again, run this out, you can give you a nice little dosage of cells, and these cells coming out of nowhere means the price was absorbed. But you can obviously see some cases where they just go, oh, you know what, forget you. But majority of it should be, again, it's pretty simple, where we get sort of normal behavior and not atypical behavior, where we run it out, we let these small buys happen here. So this became a causation for this, and you can see these dots here, these large heavy dots. After this sort of super red, at some point in time this was an entirely red candle down, so people got scared. So it's just this fear selling or this fear shorting to the liquidation to then run it down. And on the opposite side, it's also true. And this is just looking at the deltas and looking at the oh, how far we are now. And this is why I don't really like these green bars here. We're at sort of, I mean, current week sort of point of control, new month, so ignore that for now till sort of the month sets up. I want to share how you paper handed it. It's okay, paper handing. Paper handing is very fun. It's life. That's the power of life. That I definitely could see. And then waiting for these low prices will be perfect if you can get them. If you can, that is what it is. So just look out and just say, what can we get? What can we get out of it? Can we get this bounce, go up higher, take liquidity, pull back down, trade this? People start trading this short here and pull into there and trade in there. Nice little whipsaw. Ideal case would be great if we can do that. But again, not most things trade ideal. If we get sort of slammed down, take internal liquidity. Kind of weak. If we take internal liquidity, we might rise up, keep trading down until we reach this, and then we slam it. That could be another sort of priority sort of play. But the way things are trading short, we can look for that. maybe take place. And we have this sort of nice sort of pressure bar entered in here very sort of recently, so could be well and truly a spoof, just sort of keep price down. So if this starts moving down with it, we know what to do. We know they're pushing price down with it. Same thing with ES. Looks like ES looks like they just hit out stops, pulled back up. Seeing some just unwillingness from buyers to try step in here. Could see and spell trouble for us to try and pull this down. So if this doesn't start moving up in the pre-markets, we won't get this to move up. We won't get this liquidity area taken, so we won't see that sort of fall afterwards. But if we start pushing down, again, it could just start easily pushing down, hit out into this, start curving into this, here, then pull up. But again, we've got that lower void to fill, and once we sort of fill that, we can maybe look for a gap closer. So that fills in around 391.45 or 39064. So this area here, so these sort of cluster of red bars that we look to trade to. So it starts at and sort of at the beginning of this red bar, and this open rather is at 393.91. So that's something that you want to pay attention to. As you can see, we can just about miss these gap closes, but when we gap close, you can just see it's just closing the void to then bring it down, and the short from here just running down. It was really great. That's why I should say take partial profits. You can take profits here, wait for the rest to run down. You can wait for it to try and run down all the way here, but if it runs down all the way here, you're gonna see some level of pull back up, because again, this would just be this side goes up, this side goes down, this side goes down, this side goes up, as you can see here, and into an apex point, and the mountain starts here. So this is where your mountain starts. You can expect it to go all the way down to the mountain beginning generally. But speaking on the intraday time frame, you're sort of looking for maybe sort of this sort of area here. And if we visit the bottom of the mountain, we're probably going to visit the bottom of the mountain with a Bitcoin. Just saying. So it's always good to sort of look at both. And the bottom of the mountains here, this one's a very sort of, this is more of a hill than a mountain. Okay, and people just, but in crypto, people make a molehill, a mountain out of a molehill, as the expression goes. So that will probably be around here, the mountain starts, so we might maybe see that go lower. And once that goes low enough, potentially see that rise. But again, not really sort of a mountain, more of a cliff that we fell off. A hill that turned into a cliff. We fell off the cliff twice. I don't know how you did that, but you guys managed to do that. Be a nice 3-inch trade. Pretty wide on that trade. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, you're potentially looking for to see that short. If you can get that, I mean, we've got all the way until next month for the quarter. So once that quarter kicks in is when you expect price to ultimately sort of shift down. I mean, you can come in a bit earlier. Why am I crossing everything out? I want BC USDT. Yeah, I mean, it can, again, there's your reaction upwards from this, and it was a very weak reaction, and it can slowly sort of bleed out into that sort of, I mean, we can come in early and say from the 11th of September, like, from, oh, that's so weird, oh, that's not a very piece, oh yeah, at 9/11, we can sort of, maybe go down from there, things tend to go down at night. I'm joking, okay, sorry, bad joke, ooh. Oh god, I'm so cancelled. But yeah, there is potential reason to sort of see this maybe through until September 11th, and from September 11th maybe we have an early sort of offset, and we sort of come in earlier and we start shifting down to the quarter, and we start just constantly going down. I mean, because this quarter started off great, halfway through sort of pulls down. halfway through. I mean, we're now a quarter of the way through. We can maybe start seeing some reaction. I mean, not even a quarter, a third of the way, the third. So third, 2/3 in, we start having trouble. The last third, sort of chugging, sort of just waiting for it. Kind of want to see some level of reaction, maybe. Ooh. Things go down. We can maybe sort of catch that on October and see if October. But generally, October and the winter times are usually worse off for trading. December especially is when we always see traders sell off shares. But this should be, if anything, will be a very sort of long sideways range that we play starting from here. I mean, it did try and escape at one point and failed miserably. But now we can sort of try and say extend that and say, you know what, now our range is here and we treat it as such from here to here that we've been playing. 50% comes in, if I'm not mistaken, around here, if my eyes are correct. So we trade it to it, rejected. Then we can maybe trade to it again, maybe reject again as time goes on. But slowly seeing some slow sells. Maybe see that bounce off of this, slam into here, trade back down. Why is the spot loaded? Maybe because I haven't loaded it. I mean, not much else to say. If you guys have no more questions, it's probably my time to leave off. I mean, you guys know what you guys are doing, what you guys should be expecting. Two plays you guys are expecting, either go up or goes down. Actually, the third play sideways. They're the only thing the price can do. Can't go backwards. But no. Jokes aside, if it starts continuing to go down, you're potentially looking for a large amount of sells, and especially spot selling is what you want to look for, because that is when you know we're pretty bottomed out, coming into this area to then bounce off of it, to then target the high range. If we start sort of tending upwards and start tending to this sort of stop hunt, you potentially see that as a trap to then pull into sort of lower sort of regions. But right now, again, it's more leaning towards it being downwards initially, just because we are seeing that sort of trap out into here, and this sort of wall just breaking its neck. A nice little choo-choo train is developing. So if you sort of choo-choo train along, we could potentially see that drop. Again, we give choo-choo trains half an hour to come. If it doesn't come in half an hour, we leave the train station. But yeah, that's all I have to say today. Trade safe, and see you guys tomorrow. And tomorrow we're gonna do a co-stream with Bruce, so he's gonna be asking me questions. So there'll be some interactions, because you guys are pretty boring. You guys are like talking to a brick wall. I'm joking. Do you have any specific strategies that you trade lower time frames? It's exactly the same. Whatever I use higher time frames, I use lower time frames. The market is very fractal in nature. Whatever they do on higher time frames, they do to you in smaller time frames. That's the long and short of it. Okay, make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.